My name is Nora Baxter, and I'm 34 years old. As they lowered my son's tiny casket into the Providence earth, I stood alone, trembling, surrounded by strangers' hollow stares. Not one person from my family showed up. Not my mom, not my dad, not my sister, not even my best friend since high school. They were all at my sister's glitzy promotion party, a celebration that rolled into the next day, raising champagne flutes to her new title while I buried my little boy, my light, my entire world. The air felt heavy, suffocating as the first scoop of dirt thudded against the wood. My phone vibrated like a cruel taunt in my pocket, a message from Mom. "We need to talk now." Below it, 30 missed calls in the last hour from my parents, my sister, my best friend, all suddenly desperate to reach me after weeks of silence. My hands shook, nails biting into my palms as rage and grief battled inside me. How could they abandon me like this? My son, who clung to life with every breath, was gone, and they chose a party over him, over me. If you're watching this, what time are you watching? Hit that like button and subscribe to uncover how I faced their lies, stood up to their betrayal, and found the courage to rebuild my shattered life. I met my husband Sawyer Page during my junior year at Brown University in Providence. He was a lanky engineering student with a crooked smile sitting across from me in a crowded lecture hall. One day, he leaned over and asked to borrow my notes, then spent the next hour doodling terrible sketches of the professor in the margins. Instead of getting annoyed, I laughed, and that spark turned into coffee dates, late-night walks along the Providence River, and a love I never thought possible. Sawyer came from a working-class family, his dad a carpenter, his mom a school bus driver. They raised him with grit and kindness, values my status-obsessed family couldn't understand. My parents never approved of Sawyer. "He's not in our league." Nora, Mom would say, her voice sharp with judgment. "Think about your future." Dad was blunter. "That boy's got no money, no connections, just a dreamer with a toolbox." My sister smirked whenever Sawyer's name came up. "He's sweet, Nora, but you could do better," she'd say, tossing her hair. My best friend since high school tried to stay neutral, but I could tell she was swayed by my sister's charm and my family's wealth. Sawyer and I ignored them. We built our life on love, not approval. After graduation, we married in a small ceremony at a local park, paying for it ourselves to avoid my parents' strings. My family showed up, but their tight smiles and cold handshakes screamed disapproval. My sister spent the reception scrolling her phone, muttering about the budget vibe of our venue. My best friend, who was my maid of honor, hovered between me and my sister's table, her loyalty torn. Still, I was grateful she was there, a tether to my past. We settled into a cozy New England-style house in Providence, me teaching second-grade, Sawyer working long hours on construction sites. When our son Finn Page was born, everything changed. He had Sawyer's blue eyes and a laugh that could melt the coldest heart. But at 6 months, doctors found a heart defect, serious but manageable with surgery, they said. We clung to hope, spending every spare moment with Finn, reading him stories, singing silly songs. Sawyer would build tiny block towers for Finn to knock over, both of them giggling like they shared a secret language. My family, though, kept their distance. Family dinners became a battlefield of subtle jabs about our cramped house, Sawyer's blue-collar job, or why we hadn't moved to a better neighborhood. My sister, meanwhile, soaked up praise for flashy marketing campaigns and a high-flying social circle. "When are you giving us grandkids we can brag about?" Mom asked me once before turning to my sister with a smile. "Sweetheart, your promotion's the real family milestone." The double standard stung, but Sawyer's hand on mine under the table kept me grounded. My best friend saw it all. She'd been there when my parents skipped my school plays for my sister's dance recitals, when I got hand-me-downs while my sister got designer dresses. "Your family's tough," my best friend said after one awkward Thanksgiving, "but they love you in their way." I wanted to believe her, but doubt crept in. Then whispers started, my sister telling mutual friends I was milking Finn's illness for attention. Nora's always got a crisis, she'd say, rolling her eyes. My best friend didn't defend me, just stayed silent, drifting closer to my sister's orbit. I brushed it off, focusing on Finn, on Sawyer, on our little family. But those whispers planted a seed, one that would grow into a storm I never saw coming. Finn's heart condition worsened after his 3rd birthday. What started as manageable became a relentless battle by the time he turned 4, his tiny body struggling with every beat. Sawyer and I spent our days at Rhode Island Hospital trading shifts to hold Finn's hand through tests, transfusions, and endless nights of beeping monitors. I'd sing him lullabies, my voice cracking, while Sawyer built paper airplanes to make him smile. We were a team fighting for our boy, but the weight of it all pressed harder each day, hospital bills piling up, my unpaid leave, stretching our savings thin. I called my parents, desperate for support. "Finn's not doing well," I said, choking back tears. "We're in the hospital again. Can you come?" Mom's voice was flat, distracted. "Oh, Nora, that's awful. Have you tried a specialist, by the way? Your sister's up for a huge promotion, VP of Marketing. We're planning a big celebration." I froze, the sting of her words sharper than any needle in Finn's arm. "Mom, he might not make it," I pressed. "We'll pray for him," she said, then hung up. Dad sent a text, "Keep us posted." Busy with the event. No visit, no callback. Just empty promises. My sister was worse. She didn't even pretend to care. I texted her about Finn's latest surgery, begging her to stop by. Her reply was a single line, "Swamped with work, Nora. Good luck." Meanwhile, I overheard her at a family dinner whispering to mutual friends that I was playing up Finn's illness for sympathy. "Nora loves the drama," she said, her laugh cutting through me like glass. My best friend who was there didn't correct her, just sipped her wine, avoiding my eyes. I confronted my best friend later, my voice shaking. "You heard her. Why didn't you say anything?" She shrugged, mumbling, "I didn't want to start a fight." Her silence hurt almost as much as my sister's words. Every family gathering became a stage for my sister's glory. Mom and Dad gushed over her latest campaign, her new condo, her bright future. "When are you going to settle down?" Mom would ask her, beaming, then turn to me with a frown. "Nora, why can't you be more practical?" "Teaching's fine, but it's not ambitious." Sawyer squeezed my hand under the table, his steady presence, my only anchor. Finn's condition wasn't even mentioned unless I brought it up, and even then Mom would pivot to my sister's achievements. "She's leading a whole team now," Mom would say, as if my son's fight for life was a footnote. I took a leave from teaching, draining our savings to stay by Finn's side. Sawyer worked overtime, his hands calloused from construction sites, to cover what insurance wouldn't. We learned to navigate IV lines, manage Finn's medications, and advocate for better care when doctors rushed through rounds. I became his nurse, his cheerleader, his mom, trying to shield him from the fear I felt every day. Finn, despite it all, was brave, smiling through pain, asking for just one more story even when he could barely speak. My family's absence grew louder. I sent updates, texts about Finn's surgeries, his fevers, his fading strength. Mom replied with brief, "So sorry," messages, always followed by news of the promotion party. "It's a big deal." "Nora," she texted once, "you should be proud of your sister." Proud, I was drowning, and they were throwing a gala. Dad visited once for 20 minutes, standing awkwardly in Finn's hospital room before muttering about a meeting and leaving. My sister never came. My best friend promised to visit soon, but her texts dwindled, always an excuse, work errands, helping with the party. Sawyer's parents were different. They drove up from Fall River, taking turns sitting with Finn so I could shower or grab coffee. His mom brought homemade soup, his dad fixed our leaky faucet at home. Their support was a lifeline, a stark contrast to my family's indifference. "Some people can't handle this kind of pain," Sawyer said one night, holding me as I cried in the hospital hallway. "They pull away because it's easier." Even then he was defending them, trying to soften the betrayal I felt. But the whispers grew louder. My sister's rumor that I was exaggerating Finn's illness spread to our extended family. A cousin texted me hesitant. "Is it true you're making a big deal out of Finn's condition?" I stared at the message, my heart sinking. My sister wasn't just dismissing me, she was poisoning how others saw me. My best friend who knew the truth stayed silent too, caught up in my sister's world to stand up for me. I stopped texting them updates, my hope fading with Finn's strength. The hospital became my world, Finn's small hand in mine, Sawyer's tired eyes meeting mine across the room. We were alone, and I didn't yet know how much worse it would get. Finn slipped away just before dawn, his small hand limp in mine. It was 3 days before the big promotion party, and the doctors at Rhode Island Hospital had warned us the end was near. Sawyer and I sat by his bed whispering stories of the adventures we'd planned, a trip to Roger Williams Park, a summer by the ocean. His heart so brave for so long finally stopped. I felt the world crack open, swallowing every piece of me. Sawyer held me as I sobbed, his own tears silent but heavy. We were alone in our grief, just as we'd been in Finn's fight. I texted my parents, my sister, and my best friend the night before, my fingers trembling, Finn's fading fast. "Please come." No one replied. The next morning, as we prepared for the inevitable, I called Mom, my voice raw. "Mom, it's happening tonight. I need you here." Her sigh was audible through the phone. "Nora, we're swamped with the event. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. VP of Marketing." "You understand, right?" I didn't. "My son is dying," I said, my voice breaking. "Well, we'll be thinking of you," she replied, then hung up. Dad sent a text. "Sorry, tied up with preparations. Keep us posted." My sister didn't respond. My best friend texted. "So sorry, helping with the party. I'll try to stop by." She didn't. Finn passed at 4:17 in the morning, his tiny chest still. His pain finally gone. Sawyer's parents were there, holding us both, their grief as raw as ours. My family wasn't. No one came. The hospital room felt like a void, echoing with their absence. We chose a simple funeral per Finn's love for simplicity, a small service at a Providence funeral home with his favorite lullaby playing softly. Sawyer's parents helped us pick a wooden casket small enough to break my heart all over again. I sent a group text with the funeral details. "Finn's service is Saturday. Please be there." Mom replied, "We'll try, but the party is the same day. Dad will check our schedule." My sister sent a single thumbs-up emoji. "My best friend, I'll be there early, Nora. Promise." I clung to that promise, desperate for one familiar face. Saturday came gray and heavy. I stood by Finn's casket, clutching a stuffed bear he loved as strangers. Sawyer's co-workers, our neighbors, Finn's doctors offered quiet condolences. No Mom, no Dad, no my sister, no my best friend. The seats we'd reserved for them stayed empty. My phone was silent. No texts, no calls. The service began, Sawyer's hand in mine, his parents behind us. A nurse who'd cared for Finn spoke of his courage, his smile. I tried to speak, but my voice caught, choked by the weight of their absence. Sawyer finished for me, his words steady, honoring our boy. As we drove to the cemetery, my phone buzzed. A message from a coworker, Lisa, who'd been at a downtown hotel for a meeting. "Nora, you need to see this," it read with a video attached. My hands shook as I opened it. The footage showed a rooftop terrace decked out with balloons and string lights, my family and my best friend at a long table, laughing, glasses raised. My sister stood slightly tipsy, her voice clear. "Thanks for celebrating my big day, everyone, especially with Nora's drama stealing the spotlight." Laughter erupted. Mom nodded, smiling. "She's always been so theatrical," she said, sipping her drink. Dad chuckled. Finn's illness was tough, but this is what matters, family showing up for the big moments. My best friend clinked her glass with my sister's. "Nora's milking it as usual," she added, smirking. "Remember when she acted like her teaching award was a Nobel Prize?" More laughter. I stopped the video, my stomach churning. They weren't just absent, they were mocking my grief. My son's death at a party that started Friday and spilled into a Saturday brunch, the very hours we buried Finn. Lisa's text followed. I saw them there yesterday and this morning. I'm so sorry, Nora. Yesterday, while I was choosing Finn's casket, they were brunching. While I was writing his obituary, they were toasting the promotion. At the cemetery, as Finn's casket was lowered, I stood alone again. Sawyer's parents giving me space for a final goodbye. I whispered to Finn, I love you forever, my brave boy. My phone buzzed again, another message from Mom. Call us urgent. I turned it off, tears burning my eyes, their betrayal cutting deeper than the loss itself. The day after Finn's funeral, I sat in our Providence home, staring at his stuffed bear on the couch, the silence deafening. Sawyer was at his parents' house, giving me space to process, but the weight of my family's betrayal, Mom, Dad, my sister, my best friend, crushed me. Their laughter from that rooftop video played on a loop in my mind, their words slicing deeper than any grief. She's always so theatrical, milking it as usual. My phone buzzed again, another text from Mom. We're coming over at noon. We need to discuss something important. No apology. No mention of Finn's death. Just urgency. I didn't respond, but I knew they'd show up anyway. At noon, sharp, the doorbell rang. My security camera showed Mom, Dad, my sister, and my best friend on the porch. Their faces a mix of impatience and forced concern. I took a deep breath, steeling myself, and opened the door. Mom pushed past me into the living room. Nora, we've been worried sick, she said, her voice lacking warmth. Dad followed, clutching a folder, while my sister flopped onto my couch, scrolling her phone. My best friend lingered by the door, eyes downcast. Why are you here? I asked, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. We need to sort out some family business, Dad said, tapping the folder. Just a quick signature for the estate. I crossed my arms. The estate. The day after my son's funeral, which none of you attended, Mom waved a hand dismissively. Nora, don't be dramatic. The promotion was a big deal. Hundreds of guests, investors, the works. My sister looked up, smirking. Yeah, it's not like Finn's service was a one-time thing. People pass away all the time. My breath caught, rage surging. My son died, I said, my voice raw. My 4-year-old, and you were all too busy partying to care. Dad shifted uncomfortably. We're here now, aren't we? He said. Let's focus on the paperwork. I grabbed the folder, flipping through it. The documents were clear. They wanted me to sign away my share of the family estate, our grandparents' savings worth $250,000, to my sister, claiming it would settle family debts. I'd heard rumors of bad investments, but this... You're trying to cut me out. I said, my voice low, to cover your debts while I'm grieving my son. Mom's face hardened. Those are private matters, Nora. You have no right to question us. No right. I snapped, my control slipping. I saw the video from your precious party. You mocked me. Mocked Finn's death while I buried him alone. Their eyes widened, caught. I pulled out my phone, playing the clip. My sister's voice filled the room. Nora's drama stealing the spotlight. Mom's. She's always been so theatrical. My best friend's Nora's milking it. The silence that followed was suffocating. My sister scoffed, breaking it. So what, you've always made everything about you. That teaching award, Finn's illness, always a sob story. I turned to my best friend, my voice shaking. 20 years of friendship. You laughed while they trashed my son's memory. Why, she fidgeted, tears in her eyes. I was just going along with her. You know how she is. No, I said, cutting her off. You chose her over me, over Finn. Mom stepped forward, her tone sharp. Nora, stop this. Sign the papers, come stay with us, and we'll move past this. I laughed, bitter and cold. Move past. You skipped my son's funeral, lied about me, and now you want my inheritance to bail out your mistakes. That's not family. I opened my laptop, pulling up a spreadsheet I'd made since Finn got sick. Look at this, I said. turning the screen toward them. Every birthday, where my sister got jewelry and I got socks. Every school event you skipped for her recitals. Every time my pain was ignored while her wins were celebrated. 34 years of being your afterthought. Mom rolled her eyes. You're keeping score like a child. No, I said, my voice rising. I'm seeing the truth. You've never loved me like you love her. And now I know you don't love me at all. My sister stood exasperated. Just sign the damn papers, Nora. You've got the fundraiser money and our savings. You don't need this. Her words hit like a slap, silencing even Mom and Dad. Get out, I said, my voice deadly calm. All of you out of my house. Verna grabbed my arm. Be reasonable, Nora. You'll regret this. I pulled away. No, Verna, I won't. Goodbye. Calling her by her name, refusing the word Mom, was the cut that mattered. Lyle sputtered. We're your family. Family shows up, I said. Family doesn't mock a child's death. You're strangers now. My best friend approached sobbing. Nora, I messed up. Please, our friendship. You ended it. I cut in when you laughed at my pain. Leave. One by one they filed out, Mom, and Dad stunned, my sister indignant. My best friend broken. I closed the door, leaning against it, my body shaking with years of suppressed rage finally set free. For the first time, I felt the weight of their betrayal lift, replaced by a quiet resolve. Finn was gone, and so was the family I'd once known. I was done begging for their love. The weeks after I shut the door on Verna, Lyle, my sister, and my best friend were a blur of grief and strange clarity. Our Providence home, once filled with Finn's laughter, felt like a hollow shell, but I refused to let it swallow me. Sawyer came back from his parents' place, his quiet strength pulling me through the darkest nights. I'd wake up clutching Finn's stuffed bear, sobbing, but Sawyer would hold me, whispering, We'll get through this, Nora, for Finn. His parents kept checking in, bringing casseroles, fixing small things around the house. A leaky faucet, a creaky step, small acts that anchored me when I felt adrift. I knew I couldn't stay frozen in grief. Finn deserved more than that. So I started small, forcing myself to do one thing each day: shower, eat a real meal, answer a text from a friend. A colleague from my school, Jenna Harper, reached out. She'd been at Finn's funeral, one of the few who showed up. You don't have to go through this alone, she texted. I met her for coffee at a cafe near Roger Williams Park, and her no-nonsense kindness cracked something open in me. Finn was a fighter, she said, her eyes steady. So are you. For the first time in weeks, I felt seen. Jenna introduced me to a grief support group at a Providence community center. Walking into that room felt like stepping into a storm. I wasn't ready for admitting Finn was gone, made it real all over again. The group was small, 6 women, young and old, bound by the pain of loss. There was a woman who'd lost her daughter to leukemia 2 years ago. Her sharp humor and blunt advice, grief's a mess, Nora. Let it be messy, gave me permission to feel without falling apart. We'd talk about the paperwork nightmares, the awkward questions from coworkers, the way grocery aisles could gut you because of a cereal Finn loved. She became a friend, someone who understood without pity. I went back to teaching part-time my second graders, a chaotic lifeline. Their messy drawings and endless questions forced me out of my head, reminding me I could still make a difference. My principal, understanding but firm, gave me flexible hours. Take your time, Nora, she said, but those kids need you. They did, and I needed them, their small joys pulling me back to life. One evening, packing up Finn's room, I found a sealed envelope in Sawyer's desk, his handwriting scrawled across it. For Nora. My hands trembled as I opened it. My love, it began. If you're reading this, the world has gone darker than we ever feared. Finn is with the stars, and I'm right here with you. I'm so sorry we lost him, but you're stronger than you know. You gave us everything, every story, every laugh. Don't let this break you. Find joy again for Finn, for me. Live the big, beautiful life you deserve. The letter spanned 2 pages filled with memories, our first date. Finn's first giggle, our dreams of a future cut short. I clutched it, tears falling, feeling Sawyer's love wrap around me like a shield. That letter became my guide. I carried it to therapy sessions with Dr. Carla Vance, a grief counselor, who helped me untangle the double loss of Finn and my family. "You're grieving 2 betrayals," she said, her voice calm but direct. "Your son's death and your family's abandonment. That's complex grief, it's okay to struggle." She taught me to set boundaries to protect my heart from those who'd proven they couldn't be trusted. "You don't owe them anything," she said. "Not forgiveness, not reconciliation." Inspired by Finn's courage, I started volunteering at Rhode Island Hospital, sitting with kids battling heart conditions. At first it hurt, every small hand reminded me of Finn, but soon it healed. I'd read them stories just like I did for him, or listened to their fears when their parents needed a break. One boy loved dinosaurs as much as Finn did. Helping him build a T-Rex model felt like honoring my son's memory. Through volunteering, I met a couple in their 60s who'd lost their son to a heart defect years ago. They invited me to their home for Sunday dinners, their warmth filling a void I thought would stay empty. I also found a voice in writing. What started as private journal entries, raw, jagged thoughts about Finn, my family, my anger turned into blog posts. I shared them online anonymously, at first afraid of being vulnerable. But people responded, strangers who'd lost children, who'd cut ties with toxic families. "Your story saved me today." One comment read. That community built on shared pain became another anchor. Sawyer's parents joined me to lay sunflowers on Finn's grave. Then we spent the afternoon at Roger Williams Park, where he'd loved chasing ducks. The day was crisp, the water sparkling under a rare, sunny sky. He would have run straight for that pond. Sawyer's mom said, her smile soft. His dad squeezed my shoulder. "You're doing him proud, Nora." As the breeze moved through the trees, I felt Finn's presence, not gone, but woven into me, into the life I was rebuilding. Verna, Lyle, and my sister tried reaching out. Verna sent texts. "We miss you, Nora. Let's talk." Lyle left voicemails about healing the family. My sister's single message was cold. "You're overreacting. Call us." I didn't reply. My best friend sent letters pleading for forgiveness, but I couldn't read past the first line. Dr. Vance's words echoed, "Protect your peace." I did, deleting their messages, letting silence be my answer. 6 months after Finn's death, I moved to a smaller house near the park, a fresh start. The old house held too many memories, Finn's toys, Sawyer's tools. The new place had a garden where I planted sunflowers, Finn's favorite. Each bloom felt like a promise to keep going. I was building a life not just for me, but for the boy who'd fought so hard and the husband who'd believed in me, always. 2 years after Finn's death, I stood in Roger Williams Park watching kids chase ducks under a bright Providence sky. My new home, a cozy cottage nearby, bloomed with sunflowers, Finn's favorite, each petal a reminder to keep going. I'd built a life I never thought possible, surrounded by people who saw me not as an afterthought, but as family. Sawyer's parents, a friend from my grief group, Jenna from work, and the older couple from the hospital, they were my anchors, my chosen family, proof that love isn't bound by blood. I'd grown stronger, stepping into roles I never imagined. Teaching full-time again, I found purpose in my second graders' laughter, their messy drawings a daily gift. I started a small charity in Finn's name, raising funds for kids with heart conditions at Rhode Island Hospital. Our first event, a walkathon at the park, drew dozens of families, their stories echoing Finn's courage. "This is for you, buddy," I whispered, releasing a balloon with his name into the sky. Sawyer's mom hugged me, her eyes misty. "He'd be so proud, Nora," she said. I nodded, feeling Finn's presence in the breeze. Verna, Lyle, and my sister kept trying to reach me. Verna sent texts. "Nora, we need you. Your father's sick." Lyle left voicemails about medical bills, hinting at reconciliation. My sister's messages were sharp. You're selfish, Nora. Call us. I deleted them, all their words, no longer piercing. Dr. Vance had taught me that boundaries aren't grudges, they're armor. You don't owe them your pain, she said. I didn't. My best friend sent one letter begging for a second chance, but I tossed it unopened. The door to my old life was locked, and I held the key. My blog grew, connecting me to thousands who'd faced loss or cut ties with toxic families. Their comments, "Your strength gives me hope," pushed me to keep writing, to keep healing. I spoke at a hospital fundraiser sharing Finn's story, my voice steady as I honored his light. Friends cheered, loudest proof that family can be found. At night, I'd talk to Finn and Sawyer, their photos on my nightstand. "I'm doing it," I whispered. "I'm living for you." Looking back, I learned that family isn't who you're born to, it's who shows up when your world falls apart. Verna Lyle. My sister and my best friend chose a party over my son's funeral, mocked my grief, tried to strip me of my inheritance. That wasn't love. I deserved better, and so do you. If you're stuck with people who hurt you, know this: you can walk away. It's not selfish, it's survival. Choose those who see your worth, who hold your pain without judgment. That's the family that matters. Thank you for listening to my story. What time are you watching this? Drop it below. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and join me in celebrating the resilience we find when we choose ourselves. Here's to building a life filled with real love. Finn would have wanted that for us all.